seeming flashbacks. I can't put any validity to them, but like seeming flashbacks of like points in a different time and space where I was a different person in a different scenario, and I picked up those behaviors, or I found a reason to be those ways, and then I've just carried that with me. Um, and because I've been those people, and because I was in, there's a part of my consciousness that's so tied to those experiences, it's carried with them, with all of the rest of my DNA into this person that I am today. And if I can become aware of those things, the more aware of those things I can become, then the more apt I am to change them, or to work with them, or to cultivate them into something that truly is reflective of the person that I want to be. In that way, I can be in control of myself. I can release the enslavement of those systems that I, in the past, being other people, had sold out to. Um, and in the ways that I care for myself, I am caring for my ancestors. I'm caring that, when those people made those mistakes, they weren't so damning. They weren't so damning that no one would ever be able to rise up from those things again. I find those things in myself, and find that I'm going to, as much as I can be, the person to prove to those people that those things aren't as damnable as they seem, that there is salvation for everyone through me. There is. I mean, through everyone that I've ever been a part of, and that's ever, and like that means that like everybody that my parents interacted with, that helped them become who they were, and my grandparents and my great grandparents, and like everything. Like, I am a part of this world. I am literally DNA connected, atomically connected to the entire rest of this existence. There isn't a place that I've gone now, and I haven't been around the world yet, but there isn't a place that I've gone yet that I haven't been able to find myself there. And that's because I have always existed. I was just in other forms. I didn't have everything that I have now. I wasn't where I am now, you know, and that doesn't invalidate the places that I've been in the past and the people that I've been in the past. Um, I'm a different person today than I was several months ago, but I'm a literal different person. I mean, yeah, I'm a literal different person. I'm also a little different person than I was 300 years ago. I didn't have near as much cultivated, sort of deal. And like, I try not to. For a while, I was very embittered about my ancestors when I started realizing all these things and finding all these things, because I was like, Jesus, every awful thing about me is because of you people. Like, you guys are fucking awful. Look at the history that you've built for us. Look at everything that you've left for us. And now you want me to be responsible for making it better, and for, coming up after all of the shit that you put through. You weren't self-aware. Now you're going to be right here on my shoulder waiting for me to become self-aware so that you can be blessed. Like, fuck you. That was definitely my attitude for a while. But, that that's something I've also had to work through, and I think that in part is reflective of, I'm sure, people in my past. Um, it's human. It's fine. Like, that's the thing with being able to smoke cigarettes. Like, it's not something I need to do. It's not something that's healthy or beneficial. It's damaging. Okay, so it's not good, and I'm not going to argue that it's good. I'm arguing that it's real and that it's genuine. That's where I'm at. I like smoking pot. I don't think that smoking anything is good. I don't think that I would never argue that smoking pot is healthy. Although I think that there's medicinal qualities to THC that you can receive when consuming it different ways. Then my argument would have to be that using it medicinally and only having it in food and different things like that would be the way to go. So it's not like I could ever argue that smoking pot is a good thing. Um, that doesn't mean that I don't do it. I don't claim to be perfect by any means, and there's things that I do for myself, for my own pleasure, that I do in balance, that are good. There's things that are bad. There's things I still need to work out. I mean, I don't want my life to be some solid set exam. I mean, I do. I do. I would love to work towards that. I would love to have that be that way. But not because I don't care. I don't want people to look at me. Like, I don't care that people like see me and are like, yeah, that's what I want to become. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's like being able to go out into the street and meet somebody who, I've never been on Wall Street. I've never made $1 million. I never owned my own business that was able to sustain that much for an extended period of time. Like, that dude had worked wonders that I never have. Um, but seeing me in the positions that we were in, he found himself looking up to me and saying, I want to get back to where you're at. And from there, I know that I can go anywhere. Um, that to me is the point of being able to have a good example, and like being able, and it's not a good example, it's just being able to have integrity. Having integrity does give you a good example. Being an honest person is a good thing. I would much rather somebody be honest about the things that they're dealing with and the way that they are, and those types of things, and let me come to the conclusions myself as to how I feel about it, because then it's my karma. If I choose to like judge somebody unfairly for their honesty, that's on me. um, but if they choose to not be completely honest in order to avoid some of that judgment, well, now they're trying to control what I'm willing to give them, and not based on their concept of what it is that I would judge or not. You know what I mean? Like that's not right. And so I'm learning that of myself, is how to like get rid of that ego that is and my ego. Like, I appreciate people that are arrogant because they wear their egos right on their sleeves. Um, my ego is one of those super evasive, slick little snakes that likes to pretend that being self deprecating is somehow not egotistical, and will, put itself in a hole in order to get people to have to even look for it, so that people can be like, oh, well, then it's not as bad as like those big bad egos that are right on the forefront. I don't agree with that. I think that my ego is worse. I think that I have a responsibility to be a more, not upstanding person, but like a more honest person, for the fact that my tendency would be to people please and to uh, not manipulate. It is manipulative though, and it is lying. To not be uh, fully genuine out of fear of judgment, or fear of rejection, or fear of like hurting somebody else. That none of that is genuine though. And being disingenuous is not real. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'd rather be real. I don't want people to hear my words and like the things that I have to say, and like the things that I want to be able to teach, and have this concept that it's coming from somebody incapable of the things that I'm very much capable of, and then like to find those things out would somehow dampen what it is that I've already said or taught. I don't want that. I want to be able to be as real and genuine as possible in order to just, you know, have my life speak for itself. Anytime that I'm not being genuine, then my life isn't speaking for itself. I'm speaking for it in some way and trying to, hide what it's saying for itself, sort of deal. And like, it's a weird thing because it's all a matter of perception. Obviously, like, I'm in no ideal position right now in so many different ways. I'm not currently working. I have different jobs that I could do that just aren't, um, they don't make me feel right. I just don't feel like they're what I'm supposed to be doing. But at the same time, I feel not quite like a sitting duck, but I do feel like I'm anxious to be productive and to be able to put my energy into what I believe it's supposed to be in. And um, I've been trying to take this time to like rest and rejuvenate and care for myself, and to appreciate that space to be able to do so, and to just use it that way as much as possible, and to like try to be creative and stuff like that. I just don't ever feel like I'm being productive enough, um, to begin with. And then like, it's not that I don't want a regular 40-hour a week job. It has to be the right thing though. I'm not going to do something that goes against my spirit. I can't. I've gone through way too much to. I've just been proven that trusting my spirit is going to bring me into better places every single time. It's going to bring me exactly where I need to be. And if I don't feel like I'm being directly led somewhere, then I need to just make the most of what I have in that moment and in that time and in that space. And so that's, what I'm doing right now. But there is an internal frustration of and an anxiety of feeling like I'm not doing enough. Like I need to put myself out more, prepare myself somehow differently, and um, I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one because like I can put things, I can put a positive spin on things for my own purpose of focusing on the positive, but like I don't intend to actually put a spin on things. I want people to be very much aware of like my reality, not because of me, but because like this is this. I mean, yeah, because I want to be able to have my words back up my lifestyle, but also because like this is, you know, real life. Like there's really things aren't just like magically happening. They are like that's but that's what I want to show too. It's like I don't want people to be under the impression that like there's some guy behind the curtain, you know, just like making sure that everything's okay all the time, and that I'm just putting myself out there like on the screen. Like it's not like that. um, I'm actually out here like really living my actual real self as much as I possibly can, getting in tune with all of those things and then letting that speak for itself. And like the reason that I've been blessed the ways that I have and that I've been protected the ways that I have been because I've been following those things. The reasons that I've made the mistakes that I have and that I've ended up in the tough situations that I have had, um, is because I haven't been listening. You know, those are, I wasn't listening to the things that I was supposed to at that time. And it's like this whole year has just been just nonstop, just nonstop. Um, it's as if, you know, everything has been taken from me. But it was a matter of like what mindset I was going to go about receiving that. Like, has everything been taken from me, or am I willing to give everything up for the sake of whatever it is that the universe has for me, which I can trust is better? I can trust it's better because it's more perfect, because it's going, when I just let go and fall into the flow, where I end up is where my exact DNA like needs to be, because it's all just chemistry. It's all just, you know, this is the way that the wind blew, this is the way that this thing came, these things attracted to this thing because of this and attracted to this thing because of this, and it all comes together. It's only when I try to meddle and try to do things in my own ego and try to put my own control onto it and try to force my own concepts and have these dreams and goals that I'm like hard pressed to get, you know, to see happen the way that I want them to see happen and stuff. That's when everything gets fucked up, because that's just not the way it is. It's just not the way it works. I mean, I can act, you know, as tough as I want about it, but that's just not how it is. It's just not how it works. Um, I'm a part of this reality. I am as much a part of it as anything else is, and none of it, none of us is in control. We have the capacity to become aware of what's happening and maintain a sense of control over our own perception in that way, which feels like a hell of a lot of control. I'll tell you what, it's the most freeing thing I've ever done. And it's crazy because I'll get like, even now, like, I get used to it. I get used to feeling free. But then there's times where, like, just the other day, I was riding on the bus and, like, I'm just riding on the bus, just fucking riding on the city bus in Austin, Texas by myself, like, grown ass woman, like, wild, wild, you know. Um, these bits of freedom of being able to be like, I can do anything I want. I can literally do anything I want. I don't have anything holding me back. I don't have anybody like, and that's the thing. I never have anything holding me back. The relationships, like relationships are hard because we tend to get codependent. We tend to get in a relationship and then feel like, oh, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, and I don't want to do this thing that goes against them, and I don't want to have them think a way about me. So then you like restrict yourself, and like we put ourselves into these different boxes where we restrict ourselves. Being in this comfortable place that I was blessed with to be able to rejuvenate has also given me a box that I'm able to put myself in and that I can haul myself back from within. And like I do that all the time. I'm always finding ways to make boxes out of fucking everything. And it's not good. It's not good. We need to stop being so codependent. And I know it's not just me. That's why I say we. Because when I bring these things up, everybody's like, half of the people nowadays are like, that's not even, that's just how it is. That's just how we are. Wow, this is, they don't even see a problem with it. My people are the people that are like, this isn't healthy, but there has to be some other way, and I want to figure it out, but I don't even know where to begin. Those are my people. you know, I don't know. And the people that think, but at the same time, like the people think that everything's bad and that everything's wrong, that everything is something that we need to fix and that we need to pray on and that we need to do all this stuff. I'm like, I don't believe that either. I don't believe that either. I think everything's great. Thinks everything is great and exactly how it's supposed to be. And I think it's wild and I think it's crazy. And I think we can look at a lot of things that are going on in the world and be like, man, shit is fucked up. And it's not wrong, but it's also part of the balance. It's part of the balance. When you're sitting there tearing your muscles apart in order to work out, I'm pretty sure during that experience, until your muscles know that they're growing, that they're building themselves into something better, that this is part of the process, I don't feel right. There's nothing about like that's I struggle with working out for that because I don't do it consistently and because I haven't ever done it consistently. So I'm still in the new phases where my muscles are like, this can't be. This can't be right. There's no way that this is making me stronger. You're literally breaking me apart. Um, and that is how it feels. But when you can step outside or when you see the process has gone on long enough or when you can step outside and actually see the process for what it is, you realize like that's part of the process so that things can be built up better. And I'm thankful for that. And you can be thankful for that. And like all of it, all of it. It's so easy to get caught up in the bullshit of whatever day it is, and whatever is going on. And that's if something can get you caught up in the bullshit, it will, because that's how it'll get power from you. And everything wants power. And we're the only ones that have the power. Everything has its own power. We have the power to be able to perceive of those things. And everything wants us to be able to perceive of it, especially the negativities, because they get shit on all the time. They're negative. So they want as much attention as they can get, Doesn't mean you need to give it to them. I can respect an egotistical person that's arrogant, that's like, give me attention because it's me. And I feel a way about myself, and so should you. I don't agree with it. I don't think that it's valid. I don't think that just because you feel those ways that people should do everything for you, but I can still respect that over, oh, well, I'm so terrible and so bad that nobody's ever going to love me as a way to try to get love. That's pathetic. I need to get over that shit. And that is my tendency. It's sick and it's stupid and it's twisted and it's not right. It's dumb. I need to stop. All of it's dumb. The ego is a really, really cool tool for us to be able to learn how to express ourselves and how to understand ourselves and how to understand others and how to interact with our reality in all these cool, interesting ways that, it's a safeguard so that we can protect ourselves and protect our true selves while we put ourselves out there. But it is not us. It is not something we need to identify by. It is a tool. And as long as we identify by it, we become a tool. And we're not. We can be used as tools, as lessons. We are a wealth of things. But that's the whole point, is that we want to maintain that. We want to always be able to be a wealth of things. We always want the abundance of the universe. We want to be accessible to the abundance of the universe. Identifying ourselves by shallow criteria leaves us pigeonholed into certain uses and from others. And that's just not the lives we want to live. We want abundance. We want to be free. We want to be able to do whatever we want whenever we want and to know that it's good and that it's okay. But that takes us being good and us being okay. You know what I mean? If I were an angry, shitty, bitter person that was jealous and like mad at the world, me doing whatever I want is probably going to look toxic, Like, because what I want isn't coming from a healed perspective, isn't coming from a good place. It's coming from a point of like, well, I'm hurt and what I want is this thing. And like, even still, like I said, like, that's why, me smoking cigarettes is a reflection of a place that I'm not fully healed enough myself, because I'm willing to damage myself for a sake of this feels better than the alternative, more or less. Even if the alternative is just, well, it's anxiety, it's boredom, I'm leveling up and I, am waiting on a full, that's part of it. It's weird because you got to move a lot in uncertainty. I do feel like I'm waiting a little bit more on a sense of resolution before I can take another step forward. But at the same time, I have to remind myself that like there's never going to be any full sense of resolution in an ever changing experience, um, and to not hinge on those things. Codependency. We need to stop hinging on anything, right? Like any sort of identities, any sort of relationships, any sort of any of that. It's all changeable and should be. The world is changing. Everything is always changing. At the same time, everything stays the same somehow. Even through all these changes, none of this is new.